My presentation's over Mary Cassatt. She was an Impressionist painter. She was born in Allegheny City, Pennsylvania on May 22nd, 1844. She died on June 14th, 1926 at Chateau de Beaufresnaye near Paris. She grew up in an environment that viewed travel as integral to education. She had her first lesson in drawing and music while abroad and learned German and French while she was there. Cassatt began to study painting at the Pennsylvania Academy of the Fine Arts in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, at the early age of 15, and continued her studies during the years of the American Civil War. During that time she grew impatient with the slow pace of classes and decided to study the old masters on her own. Toward the end of 1866 she joined a painting class taught by Charles Chaplin. She attempted to sell some of her art to the Salon for over 10 years and tried her luck other places as well, but sold few and far between. During her rough time, Cassatt was contacted by the Archbishop of Pittsburgh. He wanted to commission the artist to paint copies of 2 works by the Italian master Correggio. Cassatt accepted the assignment and left immediately for Europe. She then resumed her career with the Paris Salon. She studied with Jean-Léon Gérôme, who was a highly regarded teacher known for his hyper-realistic technique and his depiction of exotic subjects. Along with joining classes taught by Charles Chaplin and being commissioned by the Archbishop, she studied with Thomas Couture, whose subjects were mostly romantic and urban. In 1877, she was invited by Edgar Degas to show her works with the Impressionists. Berthe Morisot was Cassatt's friend and colleague, and she mentored Lucy A. Bacon and also introduced her to Camille Pissarro. She was born in and spent her young life during the Civil War and Reconstruction era. Her later life took part during that of the Industrial Age, the Progressive Era, and finally the Roaring Twenties. During the Reconstruction era, U.S. Congress implemented the 14th and 15th Amendment to the U.S. Constitution. These amendments formally guaranteed African Americans with equal rights and liberties. During the Progressive era, socioeconomic conditions were improving, which they thought could best be addressed by providing good education, a safe environment, and an efficient workplace. Progressives lived mainly in the cities, were college educated, and believed that government could be a tool for change. During the Roaring Twenties, socioeconomic conditions improved. College attendance went up, and people had extra money to spend on things other than necessities, which gave them the freedom to experience new things. During the Reconstruction, politics achieved the restoration of the Union, transformation of Southern society, and enactment of progressive legislation favoring the rights of freed slaves. The Progressive era focused on the movements to eliminate problems caused by industrialization, urbanization, immigration, and corruption in government. It was a period of social activism and positive reform. The Roaring Twenties brought on a dramatic change. The nation's total wealth more than doubled between 1920 and 1929. Harding's campaign slogan, "A Return to Normalcy," aptly described American politics for the entire period. During the Reconstruction era, there was no really significant developments in American religion. Most considered it to be neglected during that period. Protestantism and Catholicism increased drastically during the Industrial Revolution, and the social gospel movement was brought on by Christian Protestants in the Progressive era. During the Roaring Twenties, there was a lot of effort being put into spreading Christianity into the heathen nations. Mary was famous for her portraits, especially of mothers and their children, which was uncommon for her time. She loved using bright pastel colors, and her objective was to achieve force and truth rather than sweetness or romance like most of the other artists of her time. Her style was a simple, straightforward approach. Some of her famous artworks are The Little Girl in the Blue Armchair, In the Lodge, The Child's Bath, Lydia reading the morning paper. The artwork I'm using for the presentation is The Child's Bath. It's an oil painting portrait on a canvas of an everyday bath given to a child by their mother. Cassatt used oil paint and combined some techniques of Japanese art and the subject matter of her own scene. She used bold stripes and floral designs with soft gray and mauve colors to focus more on the subject of the scene. The subject matter of the child's bath is the portrait of a mother giving her child's bath, and the function of it is meant to be personal. She wanted to communicate a personal bonding experience between a mother and a child to her viewers. She meant to give an aesthetic experience to people viewing and was possibly experiencing those same things herself while painting. This painting uses closed form to draw the focal point of the painting to the mother and her child. Their intimacy is demonstrated by their closely positioned faces and by the circle of touch that extends from the woman's hand on the child's foot to the child's hand on the woman's knee. The highlight is directly in the center of the painting, showing that the woman and child are the main aspect of the picture. The lines of this painting are smooth and curving, making everything flow together smoothly. There aren't specific sharp lines, but juxtaposing of two colors to form outlines. Cassatt used long vertical lines on the mother's dress as a sign of strength and a relaxing state of calm. All lines in the painting seem to be delicate and refined. The use of colors in the background seemed to be made up of a small amount of secondary colors mixed with a lot of grays and mauves. The soft coloration allows the viewer to concentrate on the subject of the scene, the close relationship between mother and child. The colors are monochromatic here, using mostly grays and other similar colors, for the purpose of keeping her calmness and serenity of the painting alive. The texture of this painting seems to be soft and smooth. She used oil paint on a canvas and seemed to have made soft, precise brush strokes. The subtleness of the brush strokes and the softness of the painting go along with the whole feel of what is being portrayed. The space of the painting is contracting eyes inward, straight to the center of the picture of the mother and child. The intimacy of the two is demonstrated in the closeness of their heads and bodies. The view of the painting is as if you were looking them straight on.